Everything you believe you know about Chrissy and Jim Jones is about to be completely upended. What if I told you that the worst betrayal wasn't from Jim's enemies? No, it's not just a little secret. It's the kind of bombshell that might destroy their entire world. From the person he trusted the most, Chrissy. Camron's family has been releasing bombshell after bombshell that exposes a twisted truth. It's difficult to comprehend that Jim is left standing alone, deceived, and caught off guard as Chrissy's life is about to be revealed in a way that no one anticipated. What do you do when the person you love is concealing the most sinister truths you could possibly know? Stay tuned, because if you think you've heard the worst, trust me, you're in for a full-on exposé of everything you didn't know or could have imagined. This isn't just rumor. What if I told you that everything you believed you knew about Chrissy Lampkin was false? What if the ideal relationship you've seen on TV for more than 10 years was actually worse than you imagined? Nothing but a web of lies. What if Jim Jones, the man who has relied on her for so long, is suddenly the victim of a betrayal so profound that it might destroy everything he has worked so hard to build? Hold on, because this isn't just a rumor. You're going to see Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin in a whole different light after reading this truth bomb that is set to detonate on the streets of Harlem and beyond. Let's take a look at Camron, who helped establish Jim's career and has been there for him through the highs and lows, has just revealed something shocking that nobody anticipated. And Jim isn't the only one implicated in this controversy. Lampkin is at the heart of a huge scandal that might ruin Jim's career. Reveal the unpleasant reality that no one was aware of. You've seen the glitzy photos, the public appearances, and the moments of the Kodak couple's success. But the real tale behind the scenes is that of Camron's family, has just revealed the startling reality that Jim was unaware of. We're discussing secrets so profound and sinister that they have the potential to bring down the entire house of cards. Consider Chrissy, the woman who has supported Jim for years, has been leading a double life. Now that the truth has come to light, Jim must pick up the pieces. It's like a cold smack in the face to Jim and to everyone who followed their journey. This isn't just reality TV drama anymore. This is real. How did we get here? Existence betrayal at its best. Camron, a man who has never shied away from speaking his opinion, has just revealed the truth about Chrissy's secret existence, which she has been living under for years. Although she has been portraying herself as Jim's rock, Camron's family has disclosed that Chrissy has engaged in dubious activities, covert affairs, and even financial ventures that have damaged Jim's reputation. Trust. You are aware that you can only conceal the truth for so long, and now it is surfacing in the most dramatic manner imaginable. Chrissy's life is a web of falsehoods, rather than merely a reality show. Unavoidably entangled, Jim is the man left in the wreckage, blindsided by the treachery of someone he believed he could trust most. But let's discuss how deeply ingrained the secrets are. What Chrissy is concealing goes far beyond infidelity and cheating. Rather, it involves far more corporate malfeasance, dubious transactions, and covert machinations that were meticulously concealed from Jim for years. Camron is the man. He just revealed everything. And now that everyone is watching, as Jim's life is falling apart in real time, let's discuss the first of many secrets. One that involves money, power, and betrayal that Jim trusted for years. Chrissy has not just his heart, but also his business. They have collaborated on numerous projects, formed joint ventures, and even developed an empire. However, behind the scenes, Chrissy has been conducting her own covert transactions, employing her ability to influence events to her advantage. According to people familiar with the matter, Chrissy has engaged in a number of... The man who launched Jim's career has had enough of being silent, and the world now knows the truth about Chrissy's dubious activities and treachery. But it goes beyond money, and no, this is about loyalty and trust. Two qualities Jim believed he had with Chrissy, but now he's left to pick up the pieces of a collapsing career by himself and confront the fact that why is Camron doing this and exposing Chrissy now after all these years? Is it because of their personal past together? Or is it because Camron has finally realized the truth about Chrissy? Here's the thing, Camron is tired of the falsehoods and won't allow Chrissy to get away with it any longer. Chrissy has been playing games that have harmed Jim more than anyone could have predicted. Jim is left holding the bag, while Chrissy has been playing a risky game, and he has been brought to the streets and social media, where he is now disclosing all the information. Chrissy's secrets are out and cannot be undone. However, how far did this betrayal go? Was it merely business? Or is there more to the story? Is Chrissy concealing even more sinister truths that Jim was unaware of? Stay still, for the truth is about to crush us, and we're only just beginning. Everything about the truth hurts, doesn't it? It always does when everything you believe to be safe and secure falls apart in front of your eyes, and Jim is experiencing that right now. Jones's profound betrayal by Chrissy Lampkin, the person he believed to be his rock and who he trusted, is playing out in the most embarrassing way possible in public. But the impact from these revelations is only getting started. Is more than anyone could have predicted. Jim Jones, the hip-hop tycoon, is on the verge of losing everything he has worked so hard to build: his career, his reputation, and his entire empire, all because to one person, Chrissy. But here's the twist. The extent of this betrayal goes much beyond monetary losses and covert affairs. Chrissy was a part of a network and an entire underground scheme, as her family has been subtly revealing of, and the public is just now beginning to piece it together. Let's dissect it. Chrissy wasn't merely manipulating Jim behind his back. She was playing both sides. Camron, Jim's closest ally, has never completely, for years. Camron had doubts about Chrissy, but Jim was unaware of them. Let's face it, everyone was under the impression that Jim and Chrissy were the ideal power couple. But now, it's everything is coming apart piece by piece, and this is where things get dirty. Chrissy's financial schemes are coming to light, and they're bigger than anyone could have imagined, and her falsehoods went beyond personal ones. Imagined Camron's family has revealed shocking information regarding dubious business practices that have not only wounded Jim, but also broken his confidence to an almost unfathomable degree, with Chrissy serving as the gatekeeper, excluding Jim from financial decisions that ought to have been discussed, and Jim is currently dealing with the fallout from her covert tactics. For those who are unaware, Chrissy was the driving force for a couple. When the payments came due, Jim was left holding the bag for dubious investments that he was unaware were being made in his name, whether they were dodgy real estate transactions or companies that embezzled money. According to people familiar with the matter, that Jim trusted Chrissy with everything, and she exploited that confidence. Even worse, Chrissy should be Jim's faithful partner, but she has been playing both sides, making deals with some of his. When you consider it, Chrissy's actions have been endangering Jim's empire. This isn't just business, it's personal, and Jim is now the target of her backdoor transactions with people who have always had it out for him, left attempting to make everything right. But the damage has already been done, and the public outcry is just getting started. As the story spreads, fans and other celebrities are commenting, and there are reactions. It's one thing to have your friend entangled in a dreadful situation, but Camron can't contain his feelings anymore. He never thought the woman he'd been with for so long could be involved in such a plot. Jim faces the very real risk of facing litigation or possibly government action. But when that circumstance puts everything you fought for in jeopardy, you have no choice but to speak out. Inquiries into the dubious activities Chrissy engaged in. Jim might be held liable for some of those obligations if it is out that she deceived him by using his name and assets to make fraudulent investments. Given the current state of affairs, Jim faces the very real risk of going bankrupt. But the public backlash is equally harsh, and followers who formerly looked up to Jim and Chrissy are now doubting their commitment. How could they be so naive that people thought this was a genuine love story when it was actually just a game for Chrissy? The backlash has been rapid, and Jim's following base is beginning to turn against him. The world is now confronting the difficult questions of who Jim was actually working with for all these years after his reputation was damaged. Camron's family has even gone so far as to disclose tapes showing some of the most startling disclosures on Chrissy's secret life are found in these leaked audio, which go beyond anything anyone could have predicted. Chrissy is heard discussing attempting to damage Jim's reputation by linking him to. These videos are nothing short of dynamite, and they have just increased public outrage. Let's not even talk about the social media inferno that is raging, with dubious individuals who were initially determined to destroy him. Right now, everyone is chiming in and sharing their thoughts on the situation. From social media influencers to hip-hop artists, Shy Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin are trending for all the wrong reasons, and fans are going crazy. Another tweet claims that Chrissy has been nothing but manipulative and that Jim deserves better. Still another writes, "Jim, you've been played, and we all saw it coming. There is a darker aspect to all of this. And people are now wondering how much of Jim's career was based on lies. Was it all Chrissy's doing, or was she keeping him in check?" Throughout the entire period, there has been a lot of speculation, and every new leak makes the truth more convoluted. Legal action, financial instability, and public fury are just the beginning of this catastrophe. There is no end in sight, predicting how far this might go. But one thing is for sure, Jim Jones is at a crossroads and faces not only a betrayal of his heart, but also the destruction of his business as a whole. Now that we know the full scope of Chrissy Lynns as the narrative progresses, Jim Jones must confront the harsh reality of losing not only his personal connection, but also his empire, reputation, and possibly even his freedom. The question of treachery still stands. What originally appeared to be a fairy tale romance has now devolved into a nightmare that no one anticipated, and the full scope of Chrissy's machinations is becoming evident. The media and public backlash are growing like wildfire. The circus surrounding Jim and Chrissy is becoming worse every day, and everyone is watching. It's not just about Jim's profession anymore. It's also about friendships collapsing, trust being broken, and everything possibly being destroyed. As the inquiry goes on, Camron's family has decided to reveal more and more of Chrissy's been in continuous communication with Jim's competitors, who used Jim's name to close backdoor transactions that ultimately harmed him. This goes much beyond a simple betrayal. It increasingly appears to be a concerted attempt to permanently destroy Jim Jones. Legal teams on both sides are getting ready for an imminent court battle as the public waits for the impact from the increasing legal pressure on Jim. And it appears that this might be the battle of the evidence against Chrissy is overwhelming, and the accusations are only getting stronger. If Chrissy is found guilty of financial manipulation, Jim may face severe fines and probably even criminal charges, which would not only ruin his job, but also sort of scandal that has the potential to ruin lives. And let's not forget about the media frenzy, with headlines everywhere and people watching every move. Jim Jones, Sir Chrissy Lampkin, and fans and detractors alike are taking sides in Camron's Chrissy expose, with some supporting Jim and calling for justice, while others are attacking him and wondering how someone as strong and prominent as Jim may have been easily tricked. But now the questions are about Chrissy and what she will do next. The specifics are crucial to comprehending Chrissy's behavior, and it's becoming more obvious than ever that her motives were far more complicated than anyone had thought. Various sources have come forward to show that Chrissy was connected to a number of dubious people, in addition to being involved in financial schemes from the underground. And the worst part is that Jim was unaware of his true allegiance to Chrissy, who was tactfully constructing his image, while surreptitiously negotiating with those who were using him as a pawn in a much bigger scheme. Jim's once steady enterprise is now on the verge of collapse, and industry experts are cautioning that the harm might be permanent due to financial mismanagement and potential legal issues. Jim Jones's future is uncertain, but the greatest tragedy of all is that he trusted Chrissy with his love, his business, and his future, and she deceived him in the worst way possible. Jim's mental health has suffered as a result of the mounting pressure, and he has spent days hiding away, meeting with his legal team, and attempting to salvage what remains of his career. However, Jim Jones has always been a warrior, but even the best fighters have moments when they question whether they can win the battle. Is this the end of Jim Jones as we know him? No matter how hard he tries to restore things, the damage is too great and the flaws are too deep. Regarding Chrissy, she has been keeping quiet, according to sources, and is making an effort to avoid attention. But the truth about her behavior will eventually surface, and no matter how hard she tries to hide it, her reputation will be in ruins. The public is aware of the narrative. The walls are closing in on her, and the truth is becoming unavoidable. But does she care? Is she really concerned about the harm she has caused? Only time will tell, but Camron's family has been crucial in bringing Chrissy's wrongdoings to light, are now demanding that everything Chrissy has done be thoroughly investigated. They are also demanding that Jim receive the punishment he deserves, and won't give up until every detail is brought to light. We can anticipate further more startling disclosures to come to light as the legal dispute continues. And who knows what the future holds for Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones. The narrative isn't finished. However, this story will undoubtedly go down in history. Will Jim rise above the ashes, or will Chrissy's web of deceit and manipulation destroy him forever? Wow, what a roller coaster this has been. The twists in this tale are completely out of control, but the true question is, will Jim Jones be able to put his life and career back together? Or will Chrissy Lampkin's web of deceit and treachery bring? We want to hear if you believe Jim has what it takes to rise above the upheaval, or if this is the end of his reign. Chrissy genuinely. The truth is out there, but the road ahead is anything but certain. Please leave a comment below and let's begin the discussion. Are you on Jim's or Chrissy's side? The more we learn about this story, the more doubts arise. Is she guilty, or is she being set up in a larger plot we unearth? So don't just sit there. Instead, leave a comment with your thoughts on this entire mess. If you haven't already, have even more shocking surprises in store for you, and I promise that you'll want to be the first to know. If you want more behind-the-scenes drama, watch this video and tell your friends so that everyone can join in. We have barely touched the surface of this incredible controversy in our talk. You don't want to lose any time. What will happen to Jim, Chrissy? And that the whole family will be monitored, every curveball, and will be delivering the truth to you in any way. Startling it might be. Subscribe and stay tuned, and ensure that you participate in this thrilling adventure that you won't regret. This is only the start, so let's continue the approaching truth.